All right, guys, let's talk about the co-main event that's taking place on Saturday night in Nashville, Tennessee. It's UFC on ESPN +6, and it's got some big boys there battling in Curtis Blaydes, your favorite, anywhere from about -290 to about -300 against Justin Willis, Big Pretty, coming back at about +240, +250. Blaydes is coming off a devastating loss to Francis Ngannou, and Justin Willis is coming off a very impressive win over Mark Hunt. But the odds makers made the odds the way they are, which caught me a little bit by surprise. I thought it'd be a little bit closer to even. Have no issue with Blaydes being the favorite, but I thought Willis has done very well for himself actually in his career as an Ultimate Fighting Championship heavyweight. Anyway, Dan, Tom, lead off like you always do. Who do you like in this one?
And I'm with you, George. I don't disagree with Blaydes being the favorite here. In fact, guys, we shouldn't be surprised. Curtis Blaydes has been the favorite every time out, including his first time out against Francis Ngannou, where people like myself were picking him. And I think that's because of the wrestling, guys. I mean, we've seen it before, right?
And his size. He's a big dude.
You're right. 6'5", George. He's 6'5". He's a full-size heavyweight, but we've seen it before. You know, the wrestlers, they really catch the eyes of the odds makers, right? And I think that's what happened here, because even when he didn't have the wealth of footage that he kind of has now, more as a fighter, I should say. Go back to his college wrestling. This guy is really aggressive, and he's a real grinder. So he gets to that body block, he starts launching guys. I think that's what Curtis Blaydes has to do here, and I think we might even see more of a conservative Curtis Blaydes, considering he needs to get back on track. He's coming off of a semi-devastating knockout loss. I know some people have some issues with the stoppage, but let's be honest, guys, he got cracked there hard, and I think everybody, including Curtis, accept this, but he needs to get back on track here. That makes a dangerous Curtis Blaydes, but I'm actually going to go with the underdog, Justin Willis. Now, I picked against Justin Willis last time. I thought it was going to be maybe one of those lesson-learning losses to the veteran, a close decision. It ended up going the distance, but he actually was doing the veteran stuff out there. He showed improved cardio, working that jab from the southpaw stance. So essentially, I think he's got a little better chance than the odds makers give him. Now, Willis doesn't have the wrestling background, but he comes from football athletic background, and he actually shows some good wrestling technique, which is no surprise. He trains at AKA, guys, with Cain Velasquez.
Monsters.
Yes, real monsters, and Daniel Cormier. I mean, really good wrestlers. So he's going to be used to this attack. This fight either plays out one of two ways, guys. Either it looks like Curtis Blaydes' fight with Mark Hunt, where Justin Willis has his moments, but then the wrestling slowly takes over, or I'm actually going to side with this other way, where it might look like his fight with Daniel Omielanczyk, Curtis Blaydes' fight with Daniel Omielanczyk, a stout southpaw similar to Justin Willis. It was an ugly fight. Curtis tried to take him down early, couldn't do it, and was forced to stand and bag in an ugly fight for the next 2 rounds. Now, he won that fight, but it was a close fight. Curtis himself said, "I don't like striking with southpaws." I think that's how it's going to go. I think it's a close decision either way, but give me the dog for that dog money. I'm on Justin Willis' side for this one.
How about you guys?
Little Pretty's got Big Pretty in this one. I think it's going to be kind of like not a sloppy fight, but I think they're going to be up against the cage a lot, fighting each other off for a while, and it's really just going to come down to key little moments in the fight on how you reward these rounds, and I think Justin Willis is kind of good at that, so I got Little Pretty in this one.
You know, I feel like it makes no sense. For one, Blaydes is coming off a devastating loss to the same guy, and that was a fight where, if you think about it, Ngannou was working off, a couple devastating losses to Miocic and Black Beast.
Right.
So he was ripe for the pickings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he goes out there, and I remember he had a takedown that wasn't successful.
True.
And I know that Ngannou's big, but he's also very athletic. But see, I also see Willis the same way. Willis just doesn't have the Ngannou look, but he's still very, very athletic, and I believe he's got quick feet. That's why his boxing is very, very formidable. He doesn't. I imagine that the odds makers, it's the wrestling, it's the Curtis Blaydes pedigree that makes him such a big favorite. But I also like the camp that he's in, the mentality of that camp, and the way he's been pushed by Cain Velasquez and Daniel Cormier. And he said, "I've had to be the nail on many occasions, and those guys are the hammer." But it's what's made him very tough. So I like his confidence, in this fight. I'm taking Justin Willis in this fight, but he's gonna have to put in some time in the wrestling. He may actually lose a round.
All three of us.
He may actually get smothered in that round, and there may be times when we're doubting our pick, but I feel like the other 2 rounds will go in his favor. I don't see either guy stopping the other guy unless Blaydes was just never able to get Willis on the ground. I think Willis may be able to land some successful strikes, but I do believe Blaydes will have a little bit of measure of success. Come on, this is the UFC. Both guys are really, really good. So this one was a tough one for me.
It is.
You know, and I went with Big Pretty on this one.
I was going to say real quick, all 3 of us are on the same side, and sometimes that happens, guys, but that doesn't mean it's an easy fight to pick. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these guys fight for a title in a year's time.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. That's our UFC on ESPN +6 breakdown for the co-main event. Tune in on Saturday. They're fighting in Nashville, Tennessee. You got Thompson and Pettis in the main event. It's a really, really solid card. And of course, MMA Junkie's got you covered. So keep it locked on MMA Junkie throughout the week.